Welcome back to Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Again, thank you for bearing with us through some technical difficulties. We are in the top of the third. Connor Kiley just flew out to Rivera in right field. This one's hit on a line to center field. Going back, Figueroa, he makes the catch. Oh, no, he dropped the ball. It popped out of his glove. And it's going to be a double for Sam Parks, his second hit of the game.
Maybe that's the kind of break Stonehill needs to try to get something going, try to get back in this ball game before it gets too out of hand. There just hasn't been a lot to hang your hat on if you're the Skyhawks. And that's the kind of thing that can hopefully jumpstart something.
Correction, that was Chula Hall, who just doubled. And now it's Thorbon at the plate. Thorbon singled and had 2 RBI his first time up. And the first pitch from Gaviria is a breaking ball. Correction, that's the second pitch, and it is 2-0. Wildcats have scored in both innings. They're up 5-2. And Gaviria deals. There's a strike fastball on the outside corner, 2-1. Pitch. That looked good from here, but it must have been inside. And the count runs full 3-2. With Chula Hall standing on second. Swinging a drive. Deep right field, moving back, and it's a one-hop over the wall for a ground rule double. Thorbon makes hard contact for the second time. And 2 straight doubles give the Skyhawks another run, and it is 5-3. We could be in for a high-scoring one here this afternoon.
With some light pen activity starting up for Stonehill. They're certainly not giving up on this game, trying to find a way to squeak one out here to end the weekend.
Gaviria's first pitch to Blaine Litsky is high. And it's 1-0. Litsky grounded out 5-3 to end the first. And that was the inning where the Skyhawks scored 2. He pops it straight back, foul out of play, and it's 1-1.
Nearly hit this lady walking her dog out there on the streets.
Things that we don't usually get to see when we're up in the press box.
Never know what goes down on that side.
That one's in the air to left field, and that will be a fair ball and head to the corner. No, it's a foul ball.
Looks like a ground rule double.
Yeah, another ground rule double because it hopped over that short wall near the clubhouse.
Yeah, we've seen that happen on a rare occasion out here. That fence has caused its fair share of issues from balls getting ledged or like there. Ball just hops over. It's a good probably 2 or 3 feet shorter than the standard outfield wall, so it kind of jumps over there, and Wildcats may be fortunate to save a base there, but here comes the Skyhawks.
It's a hit again, this time out to center field from Marshall, and it is caught. Going to third is Litsky, and he will be in there. The ball gets away, but Gaviria backs up the third baseman and keeps Litsky at third.
Important communication there defensively.
This is moving so fast, I can hardly keep up with it.
It is for Stonehill important to see them not completely hang their heads and give up on this game. Still putting together some good at-bats, making some contact. We haven't really seen the swing and miss from Gaviria much at all today.
It's back to 5-4. Another piece of hard contact from Sengenberger out towards center. And Figueroa makes the catch to end the inning, but 2 runs on 3 hits. And 1 left, and it's 5-4. Wildcats have to keep pouring on the pressure if they want to win this game as we go to the bottom of the third. Bottom three we go here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark in a 5-4 BCU lead in a game that is very reminiscent of a lot of games we saw at the SWAC tournament last year, where we're seeing a lot of back end of bullpens and third or fourth starters.
And I don't think in this instance, unlike yesterday, I think Coach Hernandez won't give Gaviria quite as long a leash. The bullpen is a little shorter than the Wildcats would like for the weekend, but there's plenty of arms who could probably use a go-round today, if not early into the week.
First pitch to Jorge Rodriguez, who had a 2 RBI error as Chula Hall missed his throw to first. That was back in the first inning. That gave the Wildcats a lead, and that one is caught on a line by Chula Hall as he reached across his body.
There we go. Big offensive inning. Could be a big defensive inning here. Fire up the guys a little bit.
And big rebound for Chula Hall, because in the last time Rodriguez was at bat, he made the error that allowed 2 runs to score.
And really great instincts on that. I mean, saw it right off the bat, was ready for it, lunged. If he's a millisecond late, that ball's off his glove.
Breaking ball first pitch outside to Manny Sufrain, who had an RBI double first time up. Gleason seems to be kind of working backwards to how pitchers normally go through the lineup. Here's the pitch. Swing and foul back, 1-1. He didn't really look all that good his first time through the order, but now second time he's starting to dial it in.
Nowadays we're in the era that third time through is dangerous territory for a lot of managers.
Ball low, 2-1. We have Braden Gray, warming up in the Skyhawk bullpen off to a right. Big cut and miss from Sufrain, and it's 2-2. Wildcats only struck out 3 times in 2 games yesterday. That one high, the count runs full. Wildcats looking to cling to this 5-4 lead. Full count delivery to Sufrain. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And there are 2 away.
Great defensive play, swinging strikeout. Stonehill's giving him a run here.
And once again, all the momentum is the way of the visitors. It was like that in the first inning. The Wildcats took it back, and now Stonehill has grabbed the pendulum again, and it seems like it may happen maybe 5 or 6 more times before the day is over. Fastball strike inside corner, first pitch to Sergio Rivera, who flied out to center to end the first. Gleason working quickly. Rivera watches a breaking ball slide in there for strike 2. And he stays alive by fouling it straight back. And a nice rebound for Gleason as well, after he made that error in the second inning that allowed 2 runs to score.
Yeah, looking at the first potentially scoreless frame of the day for him. That's big.
Rivera swings and misses, strike 3. And the first 1-2-3 inning for either team goes the way of the Skyhawks with 2 strikeouts for Zach Gleason. 1-2-3 go the Cats. We go to the 4th inning. Wildcats looking for something on defense right here on the CatEye Network. To the fourth inning we go. Wildcats with a 5-4 lead, but all the momentum is with Stonehill. Aaron Herbst leads it off. Walked his first time up, grounded it foul outside of third. And I remember in the Jackson State series, the last series of last season, I remember remarking to you on a broadcast that every time they made contact, it felt scary. This feels the same way, whereas yesterday it didn't feel like that.
And it's first pitch swinging, too, just about every time at this point.
Grounded to third again. Nice pick by Febo. He throws across the diamond, and Sufrain picks it off the turf for the out.
And that's the kind of contact Gaviria is always hunting when he's out there. He's going to force contact when it's gone the other way. That's why you say, you know, it's scary. But the Skyhawks at this point are swinging at everything. They're swinging first pitch. They're swinging second pitch. They're swinging at everything. They're not taking a lot because Gaviria has been hanging around the zone all day. Hasn't really been a whole lot of wildness to his game.
That time, not a first pitch swinging for Taylor Gaspar. Takes a ball inside 1-0. There's a strike. Nope, ball. Ball 2. I heard the umpire say something, but he didn't put the hand up.
Yeah, it looked middle, but must have been outside again.
Another ball, 3-0.
It's definitely high. It's getting hammered as much as he is. Maybe the message to Gaviria has been try to see what you can get him to swing at outside the zone.
There's a strike outside corner and low, 3-1. And a couple of Wildcats starting to think about warming up out there in the bullpen. Hit high in the air, first base side. Colton Olison makes the call, makes the catch, and there's 2 away.
The weak pop-ups and the weak ground balls. That's what we look for in a Gaviria start. He has to be pretty surgical. The lack of that, you know, upper or mid-90s fastball. No real thrilling breaking stuff.
And this one's hit hard into right field, and it is caught by Rivera. So the Wildcats get the Skyhawks to go 1-2-3 for the first time. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's still 5-4 BCU right here on the CatEye Network. Zach Gleason out for his 4th inning of work with the bullpen working for Stonehill. We may have thought that he might be gone sooner rather than later, but the 1-2-3 third he put the Wildcats through means he's still out there for the 4th. And I think if you're the Wildcats right now, your job is to chase him from the game.
Yeah, he absolutely earned the rest of his start here for today. He survived another inning, but make no mistake about it, the Skyhawks are really, really hungry for a win to close out this season. I don't think they're going to hesitate at all. It may be a situation where if a batter gets on, that's it. That's the end of the day. I think they have multiple guys ready over here in the Stonehill bullpen, but we'll see how it goes. Got to get on first.
Colton Olison leads off and takes a pitch upstairs, ball 1. Olison popped out to the shortstop, the second baseman his first time up, and then he caught a pop-up to end the last frame. There's a strike at the knees. And Olison is a guy, shortest player on the team, 5'6", 5'7". He'll get a lot of those calls at the knees that other players won't, to his detriment. Pitch. Check swing, ball goes inside, 2-1.
And what Olison makes up for in a lack of, real pop in his bat, he's such a mature hitter at the plate, such a great eye.
He swings and pops it up off the inside of the bat. Sengenberger looking around, and he makes the catch backing up. So 2 pop-outs for Colton Olson today.
Wasn't one of the stars in yesterday's game. He's been a streaky hitter a little bit over his career. When he gets hot, he gets really hot. He's been a great table setter out of the 9 spot in a lot of instances, but he'll find his footing.
Here is the 9 spot now. Villafane first pitch swinging. Lasers 1 foul.
You really can't get too comfortable here. The job, like you said, has to be to chase Gleason from this game. Don't let him win another inning.
Villafane, 2 RBI double, or sorry, 1 RBI double his first time up, and then he scored on the triple by Garrett Chun. That was back in the 2nd inning. Gleason is the first pitcher we've really had this series that kind of takes his time. Now he throws in the dirt, and it's ball 2, 2-1.
Especially that last night with the issues of the potential balk. We saw pitching out of the stretch to kind of avoid some unorthodox deliveries.
Fouled straight back, and it's 2-2. Villafane trying to do what Colton Olson did so many times last year and got to be a leadoff man out of the 9 spot with the top of the order coming up. He makes contact and chops it foul right at home plate. Stays alive at 2-2. Lots of Stonehill representation in the crowd today. We heard them chanting in between innings. People have traveled down from the Northeast to watch some baseball here on opening weekend. It's fouled away again by Villafane.
Fortunately, the best game of the weekend has been the one in the most miserable conditions, although it's lightened up a little bit out here. It hasn't really sprinkled much.
It has stopped raining hard like it was at the beginning of the game. Gleason deals. Maybe that's why the game has settled down a little bit and not been so chaotic. Since it stopped raining, the ball's not as wet. Pitchers have a little bit more control.
Yeah, it might be no coincidence we've seen the first zeros on the board in consecutive half innings.
Now the Wildcats do have somebody throwing down there. Pitch, swing, and a foul ball. Just missed the glove of Sengenberger behind the plate, and Olson stays alive again at a 3-2 count.
Looks like Yoancel Diaz out there for the Wildcats, who struggled a bit last year until he didn't in the SWAC tournament. Was really a massive part of allowing them to get where they did.
Fouled off again, still 3-2. He came in the rematch against Southern and shut down the Jaguars in consecutive innings at the back end of that game as the Wildcats won a close one to advance. Check swing, ball 4, and a really nice at-bat. Villafane takes his base.
Now, if that were a leadoff walk, I think we would have seen the end of Gleason, but he's thrown the ball really well, even in this inning. He's looked just more in control overall, finding his spots a little bit better, has avoided the hard contact in the last 2 innings. Who knows how long the leash could get for him. I can't imagine with a potential win right there that they would hold on too long.
Here's Figueroa, first pitch upstairs, ball 1. He reached on the dropped pop-up that Gleason missed right in front of home plate, and then he eventually came around to score on the Garrett Chun triple.
And you look back on his day, and he's been unfortunate end of a lot of those types of plays.
Here's the pitch. In there for a strike, 1-1. We'll see if Villafane is a threat to run. I don't recall if he stole yesterday. He did steal once. That was in that big 8th inning for the Wildcats where they kind of blew it open. They do check over to him. One runner on first. One down in the inning. And the pitch. Swing and a miss and a ball in the dirt. 1-2. Wildcats hunting to try and find that momentum back that they had in the first and second. One, 2. Strike 3. Got him on the outside corner looking. And there's 2 down. Second strikeout of the day for Figueroa.
I'm not exactly sure what clicked for Gleason, but like I mentioned, he's just looked calmer, more in control. He's working slower, but more methodically maybe. Who knows, he could earn himself another inning at this point. He's really been great. Completely different guy than we saw in the first couple innings.
First pitch, a strike at the letters to Garrett Chun. Chun's been on base both times. Walked and scored in the first, tripled in Figueroa and was stranded there in the second. Runner goes, he hits it high in the air to center field, racing over Parks, and it drops in front of Parks. The wind held it up. So Chun has on base for the third straight time. Villafañe moves to third. Runners on the corners with 2 down for Jorge Gonzalez-Febo.
When you're hot, you're hot. And Garrett Chun has been on fire to start this season. Came out swinging. Didn't do it a ton. Didn't necessarily come through with the base hits yesterday because he was forced to take some walks and everything else. But
he still had 4. He still had 4 RBI. He's got 6 RBI in 2 1/3 games, and that might be the end of Gleason. We'll see, as there is a meeting on the mound. This is just the pitching coach, though. No sign of head coach Pat Bowen. This is just Zach Soltar in his first season at Stonehill College. First season at the college level. He was a high school pitching coach before this.
Certainly a really tough part of the lineup to try to navigate towards the end of a start like this.
And I remember last year, the middle of the order for the Tortugas, the Wildcats were the hardest to navigate as well. And I think that's just kind of how Coach Hernandez likes to set his lineups. Gleason will remain in the game. And
you can't pitch around Febo. I mean, you could flirt with the idea of potentially trying to just load the bases, but then you're kicking it to a guy who also had a home run last night, had some hard contact today, but can't really afford to do that.
Febo swinging that bright orange bat. It's a brighter color than anything else in the color palette out here today.
There's some bright colors out here.
First pitch to Febo. Runners go. He swings and grounds it foul outside of first.
Big uppercut swing.
Yeah, he must have the green light from Coach Hernandez over there at third.
I feel like really all we've seen is that kind of all gas, no brakes swing from him to start the season, and you gotta wonder as a player when that's going to evolve into seeing the moment a little bit better. You know, a single through the middle works just as well. That uppercut swing isn't always, you know, it can get you in trouble if you get in a slump. You're finding fielders a lot. You're popping balls up. It's part of maturing as a hitter. Only the freshman, of course.
Check back to first. Chun sides in safely. Chun not really taking that big of a lead off of first. He knows everybody's going on contact with 2 down in the inning. Runners on the corners here for the Wildcats, just clinging to a 5-4 lead. Stonehill's actually out-hit Bethune-Cookman. They go to third after faking to first. And Villafañe gets back in safely. They tried a little bit of trickery there.
Actually like the play there from Gleason. A little dangerous if you think about throwing it away, but a perfectly fine throw. Good to stay on top of things from Villafañe and avoid what could have been a disastrous end to the inning, letting the guy escape.
Runner goes, pitch high, and they fake the throw down to second, rifle it back to Gleason. It's going to be a stolen base for Chun, his second of the game.
Yeah, couldn't really keep the fielder with the gap potential that George has at the plate. Couldn't really keep the fielders tied to the bag there at second.
4th stolen base of the season for Chun. Febo swings and pops it up. Going back towards the tarp, Sengenberger, and he makes the catch. Did it hit the tarp? No, and that's the end of the inning.
Really lucky break there for Gleason. His day is probably done. But man, credit to him for settling in and doing what needed to be done to get out of that one.
So Febo, a strikeout and 2 soft pop-ups on the infield today. And I mean, he has been trying to hit that ball out of here and just been missing it.
Yeah, you got to start to wonder again, like we mentioned. Tone it back a little bit. Let's take one into the infield. A base hit works just the same right there. You get your RBI either way. It'll be fun to see him kind of develop as a hitter at the plate.
No runs, season. 1 hit, 2 left. And we go to the 5th inning. Wildcats trying to hang on defense to this 5-4 lead. Nike is the official outfitter of the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Gear up on the newest BCU Nike gear at nike.com/Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Stonehill back up to bat here in the top of the fifth. They trail the Wildcats by 1, 5-4. Daniel Gaviria still on the mound for Bethune-Cookman. We believe that Zach Gleason is done for Stonehill. First pitch swinging, first pitch rifling to center for Sam Parks. And that'll bring back up Trey Shula Hall.
And the message to Gaviria is very much the same as it was for Gleason the last half inning. Wildcats have action in the pen now. A couple arms they'd like to eventually get in there for some opening weekend action. You don't settle in, could be the end of the day.
Check back to first. Sixth hit of the game for Stonehill. And they had a lot of hits without any runs in the first game yesterday. Actually out-hit the Wildcats 8-7, but only scored 1 run. Gaviria comes home, and it's chop foul off the bat of Shula Hall. Shula Hall, 2 doubles and 2 runs scored in the game. That second one, there's 3 straight, not the second one, it was in the third, the Skyhawks had 3 straight doubles to score 2 runs. 2 of them ground rule doubles. Shula Hall's was the one that was not a ground rule double. Time called by Shula Hall. Now he stands back in. Gaviria works quickly. Shula Hall swings, pops it up first base side. And that hits the top of our little enclosure again.
Yeah, we all kind of ducked and covered over here. You know, we bragged, oh, yeah, well, we don't have to worry about balls hitting us today. Now it's just who knows what's going to come from the ceiling if it does hit the roof above us. So still a little scary.
The 0-2. Swinging a grounder to short. This could be 2. On to second for nothing as the ball is thrown away. Shula Hall digs for second. The ball is misplayed in the corner by Rivera. That's going to be a run scored and a tie game.
And that was just a rare total miscue defensively for the Wildcats on all fronts there. Not sure if Villafane pulled that ball a little bit, maybe held it a little too long. I'm not sure if maybe the speed is kind of one of those bang-bang plays. Any double play is, so trying to get it over too quickly, holds onto the ball too long. Ball goes on the outfield side of second base. Then, of course, it's always tough in this corner down here with that, in the bullpen down here. Kind of gets stuck in the corner behind the elevated mound.
And that might be the end for Gaviria as there's a meeting on the mound. But it looks player initiated, no coaches out there.
Not really a, I mean, that's exactly the kind of play that Gaviria needs to use to get out of spots like that. I mean, we've seen him eat up the double headers, or excuse me, the double plays last year just about all season. And that's certainly not his fault. He's going to have to wear the run, though not an earned one, on his line for the end of the day. But yeah, still, runner on second, got to avoid further damage. Still very much up in the air as to how much longer his leash is, sitting at 60 pitches here this afternoon.
Gaviria stays in to face Jack Thorbon, who hit the first of the 2 ground rule doubles in the third. This game is tied at 5. Gaviria looks the runner back at second and comes home with it. Breaking ball, strike at the knees to Thorbon, who's one of the taller players on this Stonehill College team. Standing in there at 6'3". We saw the 6'9" Billy Duff yesterday. Hit in the air to right field. And the catch is made by Chun, and there's 2 away. Correction, 1 away. And then here's Lidsky. That's the first time Thorbon's been out today. This looks like a completely different Stonehill roster than yesterday, especially at the plate. They're stringing hits together, they're making hard contact.
They've got a chance to show some confidence for the first time in the series. Hanging right there with a tough BCU team.
Gaviria deals. Ball inside to Lidsky. Blaine grounded out to third first time up and then hit a ground rule double that scored Thorbon. Grounder to short. It's stagged at third. Throw across the diamond by Febo is in time for out number 2. That was Febo maybe overranging a bit as he raced in front of Villafane to make that play.
Yeah, had a better angle on the ball, I think, than Villafane. Not to mention it was a glove side play rather than the opposite over there at short. Nice sliding play. Really made it look a lot easier than it is. Kind of a ball hit to no man's land, but Gavir really needed that.
That one's lasered in the gap to right field. They will hold Thorbon at third. Now he comes home. Here's the throw to the plate. It's offline, and actually the runner will go to second. That was Jack Marshall with an RBI single, and then advance on the throw.
So that ball was actually misplayed out there by Sergio Rivera. The ball was in his glove, and when he went for the transfer into his throwing hand, popped out, didn't drop the ball, but was an extra, couple of seconds. Ball went pretty high in the air, so that's why you saw the kind of change in the running there. Guys decided to advance the extra base. Wildcats defensively not making it easy on a guy just trying to get out of here, Daniel Gaviria.
And now the Skyhawks have the lead. They've scored 2 in the first, 2 in the third, now 2 in the fifth, and here's Aiden Sengenberger. Sengenberger has to tie his shoe. He's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fly out to center is Sengenberger. His fly out ended a promising third, which was the double inning for Stonehill. And that one is low. So it's been 2-0, 2-0-2 in the run column for the Skyhawks so far in this game. The Wildcats haven't had anything since the second inning. Gaviria deals. Swing and a miss at a ball in the dirt, and it's 1-1. And this is going to have to be another comeback for Bethune-Cookman. They've already done it once today. Breaking ball slider finds the outside corner.
Certainly have the kind of lineup that's going to keep you in games late all season. No real dead spot in the lineup. There's no real guy that is an easy out.
Upstairs, ball 2. Gaviria doesn't have a strikeout yet. Would love one here.
Just hasn't really had a pitch today that's been his go-to for a strikeout. Might be an elevated fastball.
Breaking pitch. Didn't get the call from the home plate umpire, and the count runs full.
That one is a little bit off the outer edge of the plate. Always tough to tell from out here. Breaking ball doesn't break a ton. Kind of a little bit of a curve.
Swing and a miss. Gaviria finally gets his strikeout, and that ends the inning. But 2 runs on a hit and an error, on 2 hits, and an error, and 1 left on. And the Wildcats will come to the plate down 6-5 as we go to the bottom of the 5th right here on the CatEye Network. New pitcher for Stonehill as we head to the bottom of the fifth is Braden Gray, true freshman making his first collegiate appearance out of Chelmsford, Massachusetts, and Chelmsford High School. Two-sport athlete, baseball and swimming. Not a big crossover you see very often. But he will have the task of keeping a 6-5 lead for Stonehill intact against this Bethune-Cookman order. First pitch, a ball low to Jose Gonzalez. Gonzalez walked and scored in the first. Now he's trying to play leadoff man here. Fastball strike down the middle, 1-1. And this is when Stonehill struggled yesterday in their bullpen. Gonzalez trying to make him pay with a heavy swing, but the ball was in the dirt, and it's 1-2. Cut and missed. Struck him out with the slider. First collegiate appearance, first collegiate strikeout for Braden Gray.
Yeah, no, if you're Coach Hernandez and you're going to preach wanting to get to the bullpen, this is what you sign up for. You had Gleason dialed in early at the plate. Now you're seeing a whole new arm that you need to adjust to quickly here.
Fastball strike, first pitch to Jorge Rodriguez, and Gleason kind of danced around the strike zone, tried to get people to swing and miss. Gray is just going right at guys.
A little more pop in the fastball. Certainly with the refreshed arm, not having to start his outing like Gleason did. A little soggy. It's dried up here. Makes things easier for sure.
Quickly 0-2 to Rodriguez. Pitch low, 1-2. Rodriguez reached on the error and eventually scored on the double by Manny Sofrain in the first, and then lined out to third base in the third. Ball in the dirt again, 2-2. Working quickly, Gray deals, hit him off the shoulder. And maybe that's what the Wildcats need as Rodriguez takes his base. First hit by pitch of the game.
Manny Sofrain going to follow up in hot, but again, this bottom of the order, we saw it plenty last year, the bottom of the order picking up for the guys up top, getting the table set for guys. That's what it's going to take here.
First pitch to Sofrain is upstairs, ball 1. It's definitely a different look when you got a guy throwing maybe low 80s on his fastball to then mid to high 80s on the fastball. But he's already shown that he's got a off speed as well. Gray winds and fires. Misses low and in, 2-0. It's definitely not some of the bullpen arms for Stonehill we saw yesterday that had trouble finding the strike zone. Gray deals. Swinging a foul back from Sofrain, 2-1. Manny's been one guy that's kind of made consistent, solid contact his entire career. Didn't really need to grow into it. Just been getting the opportunities at the plate that have been lacking. Takes a pitch upstairs, 3-1. Rodriguez leading off first after getting hit by a pitch with 1 out. Here's the 3-1. Upstairs, ball 4, 2 straight walks, and the Wildcats have first and second with 1 out. With the ever-dangerous Sergio Rivera coming up.
Yeah, and you can throw as hard as you want if you're Gray. You can have as nice a breaking ball as you want, but you got to know that if you're missing the zone, the Wildcats are exactly the type of team that's going to stay patient. We've seen it especially early this year. Haven't been a whole lot of aggressive stretches, overly aggressive, I guess I should say, for BCU. They'll take advantage.
First pitch to Rivera. That one looked good from our angle, but ball 1.
What a ridiculous call. I can't believe that.
Maybe just a little bit high.
Maybe. It's, you know, we can't really tell a whole lot from here.
Now first and second with 1 out. The 1-0. Rivera watches it. Grazes shoelaces for ball 2. And after a confident start where he struck out Jose Gonzalez, it's been 2 walks and now another ball thrown by Gray, and maybe the adrenaline of getting out there for the first time starting to wear off, and he's starting to realize, oh boy, I'm in a college game now.
That's probably why we're seeing the mound visit right now. Calm him down. Because he really did look strong in his first couple pitches. You saw, you know, an appreciable difference between him and the end of Gleason's outing. But no doubt, I mean, opening weekend still has some cachet to it. A lot of fans in the stands here for Stonehill. So it's all new. It's all new.
Yeah. Big ballpark, even though it's kind of stripped to the bones at the moment with all the renovations going on. Can seat a couple thousand when fully packed out in here. I'm sure the Tortugas will fill this place out a couple times this season. Opening day is always good, and then if they make the postseason, it's always a good atmosphere out here. Count 2-0 to Sergio Rivera with runners on first and second. And Gray deals. Swung on, hit high in the air in the infield. Going back towards the BCU bullpen, and Sengenberger couldn't find it. And he actually ran into Chula Hall. They both drop it.
Yeah, with that off-white colored sky, it's tough to track those down. I think Chula Hall had a better eye on the ball, but couldn't get there in time.
So now another chance for Rivera with a 2-1 count. He kind of took a big old looping hack at that one and popped it straight up. Something we've talked about Gonzalez Febo doing.
And it was a ball pretty much right down the middle from what we can tell from out here, but very underneath it. Probably would like to have that swing back. Don't try to do too much here. Runner in scoring position already.
The 2-1, he squares to bunt. The ball goes over the catcher's head, and the runners will advance on the wild pitch.
And that's the kind of throw right there that killed the Skyhawks yesterday. You can't let those things compound and then walk batters, give away. I mean, a tying run on a wild pitch right here would be disastrous for a team that had so much momentum, so much swagger back for the first time really all weekend, holding that lead late into this game.
And now it's the Wildcats dugout that's making a lot of noise. 3-1. The pitch. Strike, and Rivera didn't think so. He was already halfway to first. So now it's a full count. With the go-ahead, well, a tying run, excuse me, on third, go-ahead run on second. Big spot in the game here. Gray deals. Swinging a chop foul at home plate by Rivera as he barely stays alive. Rivera was the man yesterday. 4 runs on 4 hits with an RBI and no strikeouts. But today he struck out and flied out in his first 2 appearances. He swings and grounds it towards short. It's going to get through the left-hand hole. 1 run scores. Here comes Sufrain charging home. He'll score. It is a ribby double for Sergio Rivera, and the Wildcats lead 7-6.
And that's the kind of swing right there that is so welcome to see after we saw some of those big hacks early. Did not try to do too much with it. Punched that ball through the left side of the infield and got 2 RBIs out of it. When you got 2 guys in scoring position, 1 guy in scoring position, even with the way this game has gone, you take what you can get, and you don't need to be the hero. You don't need to find a ball into the gap. You don't need to hunt the home run. If all it takes is fouling off pitches, doing stuff like that, it's only a matter of time before you're rewarded from it, and he was right there.
And again, it was a bit of a defensive miscue by Marshall at shortstop. That looked like a slow roller. He just kind of misplayed it and it went under his glove.
You put the ball in play and good things will happen. If you get too swing happy, pop-ups are not going to do you a whole lot of good, certainly the strikeout.
Here's Colton Olesen, who's also had a tough day. 2 pop-outs that try and spin and throw back to second to catch Rivera, and he slides back in safely. Olesen not really a guy that pops out too much, like to keep a level swing, drive balls on the ground. But has done it twice today, and has a runner in scoring position, still only 1 out in the inning. Pitch, and he pops it up again, waiting toward foul territory, and it will make the seats and land right in front of us in the picnic area.
That one might bounce over here to our broadcast table, but not quite.
Yeah. We might still get one before the
Certainly.
evening is over, afternoon rather.
Certainly if we're back out here at any point, I'd imagine that would happen sooner than later.
0-2, Olesen fists it towards short. Grabbed and throwing, and a beautiful throw. On the run, on the money by Marshall as he makes up for his error early in the inning.
And that's such a tough play, too, because you have the runner going between second and short that kind of delays the play there. But to stay composed, to watch that ball, to see it coming to the glove, make that late charge and fire it over there is a really great play.
Now with 2 down, but a runner 90 feet away, here's Jamie Villafane. Villafane doubled in Figueroa in the second and then scored himself on the triple from Garrett Chon. And he takes a strike, the count 1-1. Villafane is someone who played 2 games, didn't start either of them, but still had 2 runs on 2 hits yesterday. And he lanes this one to left field, but it's right to the glove of Kiley, and Stonehill gets out of the inning. But still, 2 runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. And the Wildcats take a 7-6 lead in this topsy-turvy game, and we go to the 6th inning here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark on the CatEye Network. New pitcher for the Wildcats to start the 6th as Gaviria's day is done. Yoancel Diaz, the senior from Hialeah, comes in. Last year, 1-0 with a 7.85 ERA and 28 2/3 innings pitched, 32 total strikeouts, and he will face Aaron Herbst, first batter up, and Herbst looks at a strike down the middle. Diaz is another one who had a bit of a rough regular season but came alive in the playoffs up in Atlanta.
Yeah, 2 years ago, he was really nothing more than a pinch runner for the Wildcats.
Gets Herbst to pop one up left-hand side. That'll make the 6.
But he was a guy who doesn't see any of really the premier relief opportunities, but man, did they lean on him in the SWAC tournament. They had to. I mean, so shallow a bullpen for everybody.
Big cut and miss at a breaking ball, and down goes Herbst. That's the second Wildcat strikeout of the game. The first one was the last pitch Gaviria threw to end the 5th.
Yo-Yo does have, for maybe what he makes up for in a lack of control, he does have the juice on that fastball that he can fire in there. And that's how he saw his success, especially in the tournament last year.
Diaz came in against Grambling State in the first game. It was the back end of a doubleheader, first pitch strike to Taylor Gaspar. He came in the 9th in a close game and got 2 straight strikeouts to shut down Grambling State, force a replay in a game the Wildcats eventually dominated the next afternoon.
It's just a must-win opportunity. Nobody else to turn to step up in a situation. It was so fun to watch. Guy deserves it.
Breaking ball at the knees, ball, and it's 1-2 to Gaspar. And then credit to Diaz, he's come in and pounded the zone.
Who knows, maybe he very well could pick up where he left off last year in the tournament.
You gain a lot of confidence from an experience like that. This one grounded sharply to second. Sliding stop by Olesen. From his knees, crosses body. In time, what a play by Colton.
I mean, I thought there was no chance with that play, even once he made the grab, which was already difficult enough to fire that one over to first base and make the play. But my word, just a laser over there. Soufrian didn't even have to move his glove from where he set up at. I mean, you can't only sing the praises. The guy's praises that much. Unbelievable.
Jeter-esque. This one hammered out towards center field, and it is caught on the run by Figueroa. Diaz comes in and goes 1-2-3. The Wildcats needed that defensively, and they will come back to bat with a 7-6 lead at the bottom of the 6th. Coming up next on the CatEye Network. After shutting the Skyhawks down in the top of the inning, Wildcats bat in the bottom of the 6th. They will send Daniel Figueroa to the plate. Braden Gray still on the hill for Stonehill. The true freshman in his first collegiate appearance gave up 2 runs in his first inning of work. He gets Figueroa to chop it to second. Throw on the run. In time. What a run by Figueroa. He gets there half a step ahead of the throw.
Kind of a strange late developing play there. Thought Marshall would take that ball, but instead you saw second baseman kind of running on a Herbst. Made that play full speed, running in to try to make it late. Not sure how that play shakes out, if different call there.
They check over to Figueroa at first, and now here's Garrett Chun, who's been the best bat in the lineup. Walked, tripled, singled. He has 4 stolen bases in 3 games. He squares to bunt. Runner goes to second. Throw is in time, but it pops out of the glove of Marshall and into center field with the stolen base for Figueroa.
Yeah, they certainly had him.
It's weird being here at field level, especially behind first base. You kind of feel the impact of those close plays at first more than if we were sitting all the way up in the press box.
Well, Mike, you can stay out here and call the games if you want.
No.
I'm going to go back under the...
No, thank you.
I
I think when the press box is ready, I'll be right back there up there with you.
Okay, fine. Suit yourself. You seemed really excited about it. I just want to make sure you got the chance.
I said different, did not say good. The count is 2-0 to Chun. He squared to bunt in the first pitch, pulled it back as the throw was high, with now Figueroa on second. And Gray deals outside 3-0, excuse me. Beware the wary helicopter is the pitch from Gray. That's in there for a strike at the knees, 3-1.
We missed out on most of the aerial excitement this morning. Jets were doing some of their runs down the street on International Speedway.
Breaking ball finds the zone as Chun doesn't offer at it, and Gray's worked it back to a 3-2 count. Of course, races going on this weekend. They were there really late last night. The ARCA race didn't even start till 11:30. Pitch. Chun hits it in the air to center, going over Parks. It's actually Kylie makes the catch. Figueroa doesn't tag. And that's the first out of the game for Chun.
You'd hate to leave the runner in scoring position here. It's important. A one-run lead looks a lot different in this game, especially with the bullpen in there.
That might be the end of Gray, as there's been another Stonehill player warming up in the bullpen. He takes the ball from his bullpen catcher and walks out there. So we will introduce you to Joe Castracini. Castracini, a senior from Peabody, Massachusetts. Last year, made his college debut, didn't play any baseball until his junior year. Through 16 and a third innings, struck out 14. In games against Tarleton State and a career-high 4 strikeouts at Sacred Heart. It's also in the NEC, who I believe left the NEC this year. There's been a lot of shuffling going on up in the Northeast conferences.
Chicago State joining down there. You know, I think from Gray, we saw a little bit of everything. Kind of a very freshman-esque outing for him. We saw definitely some moments where you can see the potential, the stuff, the fastball, the location. At the same time, you saw some miscues here or there. It was the benefit of some defensive quirks that maybe cost him a little bit. But overall, a guy that Stonehill can certainly be excited about. Look forward to his growth over the season. But the bullpen for the Skyhawks overall struggled with command yesterday, but I don't think has been quite as barren as some of the SWAC schools we've seen, especially tournament last year. Of course, at that point, you're down to the very end. And so these Sunday games are the type of games where you would think you would get there, but we haven't really seen it fall off cliff, especially today when it's been the closest. I mean, you can see why Stonehill would save their best arms for the last game when they didn't really get within striking distance much yesterday.
And the Wildcats only used 4 pitchers in 2 games yesterday. Yes, Torres came in right at the end, but only threw 4 pitches. So he's available today.
Torres probably would be called upon if this stays a one-run game heading into the ninth. He's the prospective closer. With that fastball, he's got that velocity that you just can't replicate anywhere else. Plays really well in the ninth inning when guys are down. Hard ball to catch up with.
So the first pitcher that Castracini will face is Jorge Gonzalez Febo, and his first pitch is high ball 1. There is a runner on second base in the form of Daniel Figueroa after he beat out a throw on an infield single and then stole second. Castracini checks the runner, comes home. Swing and a grounder up the middle. In the perfect spot to throw to third for the out is Marshall. So they get the lead runner, and it's a fielder's choice that puts Febo on base. Now, I don't often get to write out 6-5 in my scorecard, but I do that time.
Skyhawks
Interesting decision.
Certainly needed it.
But both the second baseman and the shortstop on the last play were playing right up the middle near the second base bag. And Fabo put it right in the shortstop's glove. Now here is Jose Gonzalez. Gonzalez looks at a ball low, and it's 2-0. This is now from 1 out and a runner in scoring position to 2 outs and a runner on first. Stonehill made a massive improvement to the expected runs in the inning for Bethune-Cookman. I'm not sure if I just made that stat up off the top of my head, or is that a real thing?
You can say any combination of letters in the dictionary, and it's probably a statistic in the baseball world somewhere. It's absurd.
Up and in, ball 3 for Castracini. Excuse me, that was ball 4. Once again, the scoreboard 1 pitch behind. And Gonzalez takes his base, putting Fabo on second.
Sure, that'll raise his WBFL rating. I did make that one up.
What? I'm gonna go on baseball.
Yeah, and you're gonna
Reference
find
after
it.
the game. I'm gonna find something.
It's a whole new world the last couple of years analytically.
First pitch upstairs to Jorge Rodriguez. Rodriguez reached on an error in the first and then scored on a Sufrain double. Then reached on a hit by pitch in the fifth and scored on a Rivera double. Second pitch to him is in there for a strike, 1-1. So Rodriguez has not gotten a hit today, but he's been on base twice and scored twice. That was a slow pitch. Change up in there for a strike. And it's 1-2 with 2 outs, and Castrocini is close to getting out of this inning without surrendering a run. He deals. That's way inside. But it's strike 3. That's, from our angle, of course, we can't see, but
Could be a great call, could be a bad call. It's tough to know.
Rodriguez jumped back. The catcher dropped the ball, then tapped him on the chest for the 3rd out. Well, he goes into the book as a strikeout. No runs, no hits, 2 left. And no runs, 1 hit, 2 left. And we go to the 7th. Wildcats still with a 1-run lead here on the CatEye Network. Sam Parks leads it off for Stonehill here in the top of the 7th. Wildcats lead this one 7-6. Yoancel Diaz on for his 2nd inning of work. Got the Skyhawks to go 1-2-3 in his 1st inning out there. Diaz winds and fires. Inside just a bit, ball 1. Parks today singled and scored in the 1st, flied out to right in the 3rd, and singled and scored in the 5th. Another pitch just inside for ball 2. We saw Diaz really attack the zone in that 1st inning. This time he's missed 2 inside. And he misses a 3rd one inside. Really trying to jam up Parks, but you got to throw strikes at some point. That time he puts it right down the middle, and it's 3-1. Breaking ball, strike 2. Parks almost threw the bat down and was headed to first.
Been a lot of that today. Been 4 or 5 times where guys are trotting down to first. Kind of a late guy to call strikes as the home plate official.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Diaz gets his 2nd strikeout.
I mean, we haven't seen this in the regular season from Diaz, but man, if he really has flipped a switch from last year's SWAC tournament to carry it over, super happy for him to see this kind of success. Such a great kid, one of the student athlete advisory committee members. Does a lot for the community.
First pitch strike at the knees to Chula Hall. This will be the real test of his abilities, though. It's Chula Hall, Thorban, Lidsky in the middle of the order. The part of the order that's had the most success today for Stonehill. This one chopped to short. Villafane crossed to Soufrain, and there's 2 away.
See, with a guy whose primary pitch is that mid-90s fastball, sometimes you can get into dangerous territory. You're talking about a fly ball pitcher, so sometimes they get into the gaps or they go a little longer than you think. If he can find a way to stay low in the zone, get those ground balls, different pitcher.
First pitch, a strike again.
Especially when you can get guys to roll over a breaking ball like that one.
This is Jack Thorbon, singled in the first, ground rule double and scored in the third. Fouled away in a count 0-2. And then Thorbon flied out to left in the 5th. Diaz a strike away from getting out of the inning in rapid order. It's off of his foot, and it coughs Soufrain up. Olesen goes all the way over, and he can't quite make the play.
I half expected to see the out call there. It was close. It was tough. Soufrain, it's such a light speed decision you have to make. He probably could have made that play if he was thinking grounder all the way, but I don't think he expected it to stay quite as close on his side of the field.
Well, that took a massive deflection off of the leg of Diaz, and I think that's what Coach Hernandez is going to come out and talk to him about. So that was going right up the middle, and Johansson kind of deflected it towards the first base side.
What an effort from Olesen again right there. Just bare hands it, tries to flick it to Soufrain. Still got enough on it to get it there almost in time. For lack of trying, that's for sure.
They are looking at his leg, the athletic trainer. Wildcats do have 2 in the pen right now. We will see if they need to go to that or if Johansson Diaz is still okay. I'll get a couple of warm-up pitches, I think. But if it would be a tough end to a really good outing by Diaz if he was forced to come out.
Looks all right. Everybody's heading off. Did some jumping, did some stretching, trying to kind of prove that I think he's okay. He's always, I feel like in lower leg stuff like that, the plant foot, putting so much pressure, so much strain on it, pitch to pitch, to make sure it's strong.
I see Jeffrey Gonzalez out there in the Wildcat bullpen, a pitcher we haven't seen yet, a new transfer from Indian River.
Brother of Yohan Gonzalez, of course.
2 down, runner on first. Pitch is low, ball 1. And I think, I can't be. I thought the other pitcher might have been Dylan Dodonis, but it is not. I'm not sure who else is out there. That one is sliced foul, third base side, 1-1. This is Blaine Lidsky. Grounded out to third in the first, hit a ground rule double and an RBI in the third, and then grounded out to third in the 5th. Diaz trying to get out of the inning after giving up an infield single. He winds and fires. And that one's just off the plate outside, 2-1. Wildcats clinging to the 7-6 lead in what has been a topsy-turvy game. Fouled straight back, 2-2. The only difference is the Wildcats scored 3 in the first, and then they've traded 2-run innings back and forth the rest of the way. Skyhawks looking to respond. Diaz stares down the barrel of a 2-2 pitch. He deals, and he bounced it to the plate. The ball gets by Rodriguez, and it's a free base on a wild pitch for Thorbon, and now there's a runner at second with 2 away.
Just another big early season spot. You know, full count right here, big pitch, 2 away, guy in scoring position. Letting up no runs. A lot different than 1 run for a guy who has a lot to prove early.
Yo-yo deals, swinging a drive into center field. It is going to get down in front of Rivera. Thorbon trots home, and it's a tie game at 7 on an RBI single for Lidsky.
Yeah, ball middle, sent right back the way it came. Just like that, we're knotted up again.
Diaz going to stay in there to face Jack Marshall, who who's flied out twice and singled.
In for a good finish in this one.
Breaking ball catches the inside corner. Back in the exact same position we were just in. Breaking ball the outside corner this time, and it's quickly 0-2.
Does have a nice mix between that fastball and the breaking ball. Make sure not to get too wild with the off speed, though.
Ground ball to third. They will go across the diamond to first. Dufresne stretches out to make the play. And that'll do it for the Skyhawks, but they do tie the game, a run on 2 hits and 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. 7-7 here at the Jack on the CatEye Network. Manny Dufresne leads off the bottom of the 7th for the Wildcats in a 7-7 ball game. Joe Castaccini is still in for the Skyhawks after not giving up a run in his first inning of work. Big cut and miss from Manny, and the count is 0-1. Sorry, go ahead.
After the scoreless inning last time, thought maybe we were in for the Wildcats going into cruise control a little bit. Kind of took that momentum back from Stonehill, and maybe they try to settle into, oh no, we're going to drop this one too. No.
Big cut and miss on the off-speed pitch, and down goes Dufresne. Second strikeout for Castaccini.
And that's really been the key, is after those first couple innings for Stonehill, they've settled it down on the mound. Had the 2 spot in the 5th, but have just looked, it's looked better. There hasn't been the constant guys on the base paths, a lot of strikeouts.
Rivera tried to get a bunt single. He laid it down a couple of times yesterday. Including one that went crazy and scored 2 runs off of 2 errors. He tried to lay it down again. That's how he pulls it back for a ball, and the count 1-1. Bunting with an out, and the base is empty.
Just that kind of manufacturing runs, or trying to start it at least.
There's a strike, 1-2. We saw A.J. Smith do that yesterday to lead off the 8th. But Smith is a lightning bolt on the base paths.
That may be his best weapon offensively.
Rivera watches a breaking ball skid outside, and it's 2-2. Wildcats looking for a spark offensively. Haven't really gotten anything going in the last couple of innings. They've had some base runners, but nothing truly threatening. They almost had a runner on third last inning, but Figueroa was caught out 6-5 on a fielder's choice. Count runs full to Rivera. Castaccini winds and deals. Rivera fouls it straight back. On a very gray, overcast, rainy day in Daytona Beach. We're still playing baseball here on the 17th of February, when the professional guys are just starting to think about maybe throwing a ball.
And it really hasn't been too bad out here today. Not nearly as bad as I think we all expected it to be. We've had no delay. The rain has been stopped for the last hour and a half or so. Colder than we'd like, but otherwise pretty pleasant.
This is the first big test for the Wildcats in a close game. Both games yesterday not close. Castrocini deals. Ball 4. And even as he's walking down to first base, I'm almost waiting for that punch out, but it was outside. Rivera takes his base.
I almost feel like he was too. Just a late strike caller behind the plate. But that's how you kick start an inning like that. I think we'll probably see multiple throwovers. It's obviously tougher with it being the righty, but they're going to be wary of the steal, even if Rivera may not be looking to go.
Olesen swings the first pitch and fouls it onto Orange Avenue. Olesen's had a tough little day. 2 soft pop outs and then a ground out. Runner goes. Throw down to second is in time. Rivera caught stealing, and there's 2 away.
That was a dime right there from Sengenberger. I was wondering before he decided to take off there, did Rivera, if that's the kind of situation later in the season we'll see pinch run opportunities for A.J. Smith, no matter who's out there running necessarily. I mean, he looked like such a weapon last night. Then in a 1-run game in the 7th. Could be fun.
Olesen fouls another one off. Count is 1-2. Castrocini rocks the leg and comes home with it, and he punches out Olesen and looking. 1, 2, 3 go the Wildcats. And Stonehill has a chance to take the lead going to the 8th right here on the CatEye Network. Getting down to crunch time. To the 8th inning we go here at the Jack in a 7-7 ball game between the Stonehill Skyhawks and the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. But the last couple of innings have been all Stonehill. They've rode some good pitching from Gray and Castrocini. And now they have a chance to take the lead. Yoancel Diaz still out there with 2 Wildcats warming in the bullpen. So this is probably a short leash for Yo-Yo as he faces Aiden Sengenberger, who had a laser from behind the plate for a caught stealing in the last half inning. First pitch breaking ball strike to Sengenberger.
I'm surprised with it being opening weekend. I mean, maybe saving some arms for Tuesday night. We don't see relief already for Yo-Yo.
Low and outside, ball 1.
But it's also a credit to him. Looking maybe stronger than even Coach Hernandez expected.
That one fouled away. 1-2.
That's that nice combo from the breaking ball to the fastball. You could see that Castrocini's a beat behind it, so never really had a chance to catch up with that one.
Sengenberger just barely catches up to it. Diaz has 2 strikeouts already today.
If he can pick a spot with his fastball, he's can be a weapon.
Tried to pick the outside corner, couldn't find it. The count runs full. Breaking ball upstairs. Now the count runs full. Big spot for Diaz. He deals. And it's inside, ball 4. That's the first walk he's given up. And Sengenberger is on with nobody out. He represents the go-ahead run.
Yeah, when Yo-Yo struggled at times last season, it was from kind of that erratic play. A lot of the bottom end of the Wildcats bullpen, that was the biggest issue. It wasn't necessarily for a lack of stuff or even a lack of heat on the fastball, but it's the walks. I'm surprised we haven't seen a call to the pen yet. Probably the final batter here, unless he can work another out.
This is Aaron Herbst, who squares to bunt. The ball gets away from the catcher. Sengenberger goes down to second. I think the Wildcats are arguing that the ball may have hit the bat, so it should be foul ball. Stonehill is arguing maybe that it hit Sengenberger.
If we were behind the plate, maybe we would have been able to see that.
It's just, I'm calling that a pass ball. So now the go-ahead runner's on second with nobody out. Pitch. Squares to bunt again. Pops it up. Foul territory. Manny Soufrain is there, and he makes the catch.
Tracked it all the way to Soufrain, charging in to try to snag that one with Olsen going over the cover. That's such a bad break. Staring down, taking the lead is Stonehill to go from that.
That may be the break Diaz needs. Because now here's the 9-hole hitter, Taylor Gaspar, flied out twice and grounded out in his 3 plate appearances today. First pitch from Yoancel Diaz, breaking ball, strike at the knees. Diaz has done a good job getting first and second pitch strikes, but when he tries to get cute with it and try and get guys to swing and miss, that's when he loses some counts. That time just a touch high.
I like the pitch selection there, though. I think with as much juice as he has on the fastball, that's the kind of thing he should go to for that put-out pitch.
The 1-1 is just upstairs again, 2-1. The board says 3-0, but I could swear that first pitch was a strike.
We do have it as 2-1.
Big cut miss at a ball in the dirt, and it's 2-2.
High fastball to the low breaking ball is a really great combination. And even when he may not hit his spot exactly up top with the fastball, it's got so much on it that guys aren't used to seeing, especially from a guy like Gaviria to start the game, that it can be a really good combo. It's hard to get your hands around it fast enough.
2-2. Bounce to the plate again. It gets by Rodriguez again, and it's a second free base for Sengenberger. He goes to third this time on another pass ball.
No movement over there in the dugout for the Wildcats. Maybe looking at Yo-Yo's inning here, you know, barring a complete meltdown.
And now basically anything scores the run from third, even a fly ball here with 1 down.
37 pitches for Diaz.
And it's ball 4. Diaz walks Gaspar. It's his first time on base all day, and there's runners on the corners with 1 down. Still no movement from the Wildcat dugout.
Very interesting.
I feel like Coach Hernandez usually has that pretty quick hook.
Especially with two guys who've been warming for a considerable amount of time at this point.
Now back to the top of the order with Connor Kiley. And now, Coach Hernandez calls time. He waited a while.
Yeah, but going to send out the pitching coach, Will Sanchez. So no sign, no call to the pen yet. He's a guy that's been through it. I mean, he's been here. He's seen other guys go through it. Pitched his fair share, but also seen a lot in his time here. So I don't think opening weekend jitters or any part of it. He's been solid. He's been strong already today. Just kind of probably, you know, this is your inning. You've got this. We believe in you. You're our guy. Don't try to overdo it. Don't yank that breaking ball too much. Rely on what got you this far, that fastball. Probably losing a tick off the velocity at this point. One of the longer outings of his career.
This is, you know, probably working up to where the coaching staff wants Diaz, which is maybe a longer middle reliever in this rotation.
Be interesting to see who that midweek starter in and out tends to be. Somebody's got to earn that spot to face off with some of the toughest opponents around the state of Florida.
Now Hernandez is going to come out. I didn't think you could do that in consecutive without a pitch.
And it looks like he was sent right back by the second base
I'm
official.
not sure if the rule is consecutive pitch or consecutive batter. So you may have to wait till the next batter to go out there and talk to Yo-Yo. Diaz deals. Just a little high above the letters to Connor Kiley, who has not been great today, but is consistently one of the better bats that Stonehill has. High, there's a strike. They throw back to third, trying to get Sengenberger, and he's safe.
Kiley 0 for today. Now you really, I feel like we said it a lot, but now you really feel like if this isn't an out, it might be the end.
Kiley in off the hands, fouls at first base side, out of play. 1-2 the count to Connor Kiley. Diaz with the runners on the corners in a tie ball game. Here's the pitch from Yo-Yo. It's fouled away again. And now in the 8th inning, it'll be interesting to see what Stonehill does with their bullpen in the bottom of the inning if they stick with Castrocini. Yo-Yo winds and fires. Runner goes. Pitch is low. They're going to give up the free base to Gaspar.
And I see that's the first pitch I think you've really started to see that we're at that fatigue point for Diaz. Goes with the fastball. Didn't set up low, but pulled it a little bit. And still has the velocity on it, but the control is starting to wane a little bit.
Big cut and miss, and Kiley goes down swinging. And there's 2 outs in the inning. Went for the high fastball.
And then going back to high is, I think, a great spot for Diaz to try to sit for that put-out pitch. If you miss with it, there's still so much velocity on it, it's hard to track down, but
that might be the end for Diaz. Goes out on a high note, getting a strikeout.
An overall an exciting outing for him. Really a lot to look forward to early in the season for Yo-Yo.
It'll be Colby Lipovsky, the junior from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, a transfer from Florida State College of Jacksonville, like a lot of these BCU players are, to take over on the mound for Yo-Yo Diaz, and he gets a bit of applause as he walks back to the dugout. With new pitchers, right, you never really know how they're going to perform in game action. Had a lot of preseason scrimmages and in-house scrimmages to maybe see these guys, but Lipovsky a bit of an unknown. First lefty pitcher since Gaviria in the early innings that Stone will have had to contend with.
And we're at the added effect this weekend of, like we said, a handful of arms banged up in the BCU bullpen that we might traditionally see. So the bullpen hierarchy is going to shake out a lot over the next few weekends and really all the way into conference season and beyond. It's an ever-revolving thing, especially at the collegiate level. You just kind of hope that by the end of the season that you've weeded out maybe 2 guys in addition to a closer that you can go to and say, with a little bit of confidence that you trust them in big spots, you trust them in close games. Everybody else, it can be kind of a free-for-all. So we'll see when those arms are back. Everybody's fully locked in for BCU and guys are rested up. What maybe that looks like, but for now, Lepovsky's going to get his own shot to see where he lands in all that grand scheme of things for now.
In 2 seasons in Jacksonville, he made 30 appearances in 18 starts. Through 102 1/3 innings with a 7.39 total ERA, 97 strikeouts, 67 walks, with 8.5 Ks per 9. And he comes in at a big spot, tie ball game, 2 outs, runners on the corners, and Sam Parks coming up, who has 2 singles and 2 runs scored today.
They get in the middle of that Skyhawk order. Been pretty consistent today. Hits for everybody 2 through 6. I mean, you just know the closer we get to the end of this one, they're feeling it. They're trying to steal that one on the way back home. It's a big deal for these teams to start 0-3 versus 1-2. You know, 1-2 happens. A 1-2 weekend, you'll get them everywhere, even with the best teams throughout the season. 0-3, then you're starting to feel it a little bit of heat coming back.
The Skyhawks won't play again until March 1st when they're back in Florida for a 3-game set at Florida Atlantic. Here's Lepovsky's first pitch in a BCU uniform. Parks squares to bunt, the pitch goes low. And he looked when he was warming up to be over-rotating a little bit, was throwing some stuff in the dirt. And it's low again, 2-0 to Parks.
Lepovsky, another guy with a blue glove. A lot of guys around that with BCU this year. Promotion of autism awareness and support.
That one's low again, and Rodriguez has to do some dancing behind the plate. Lepovsky, all 3 pitches low in the dirt.
The good news for him is they've been in the catcher's glove and not at the backstop.
That time a strike, really late call, but it was right down the middle.
Still in the lower half of the plate, credit to him. He's sticking with what they're clearly trying to do, keep that ball low.
And that's ball 4 in the dirt. So 3 out of 4 pitches in the dirt for Lepovsky, and Parks walks to load him up with 2 outs in the 8th.
Here comes Coach Hernandez.
That can't be the end for Lepovsky.
Oh, it looks like it is.
1 batter. And Lepovsky is done.
Be an interesting one to talk with Coach Hernandez after the fact. Maybe it was could be more than just, you know, it could be not ready with it being opening day or opening weekend, some nerves, could be a physical issue. Definitely being taken out after 1 batter has its own level of concerns, but at the same time, it's a tie ball game, and another at bat like that is completely uncompetitive and is just handing the Skyhawks a lead. So maybe trying to get out ahead of it. Coach Hernandez not liking what he saw on that AB.
And now we have Jeffrey Gonzalez, Indian River State transfer from Port St. Lucie, down where the Mets have their spring training, a Treasure Coast High School grad. In 32 1/3 innings for Indian River last year, a 3.03 ERA, 11 runs, 22 walks, 48 strikeouts, and was an all-conference member, and also played summer ball on the Appalachian League for the Bristol Liners.
A lot of Appy League guys on this team. Of course, most notably for us, brother of Yohan Gonzalez, SWAC reliever of the year last year. He's got some big shoes to fill. Pokey, as we called him last year. Guy who had a ton of velocity, had some good strikeout stuff, but none of that matters to his brother Jeffrey, who's going to try to forge his own name in the Wildcats organization program.
Well, he's got to do it pretty quickly with the bases loaded, 2 outs in a tie ball game in the 8th. As Gonzalez back to a righty for his warm-up pitcher. He will face Trey Chula Hall who has doubled in the first and scored, doubled in the third and scored, reached on a fielder's choice, scored on 2 errors in the 5th, and then grounded out to the shortstop in the 7th. So 3 hits, 3 runs scored. Or sorry, 2 hits, a fielder's choice, and 2 runs scored for Trey Chula-Hall today. He's in the conversation with Jack Thorbon as best hitter of the day for Stonehill. And he comes up in potentially the biggest spot of the young season for the Skyhawks.
Not getting any easier for the Wildcats. This is the turning point in this ball game. No doubt about that one. There's been a lot of back and forth. And certainly there's time to make up for any mistakes that are made here in the 8th with 2 chances to take the bat again, but.
And now, on a gray, rainy, overcast day on the east coast of Florida where we thought we weren't even going to get a game in, we got the best game of the series, and this is the best moment of the series. Bases loaded, 2 outs, tie ball game at 7. Jeffrey Gonzalez in to face Chula-Hall. The first pitch is upstairs above Chula-Hall's head for ball 1. And we got all the pitches low from Lipovsky, and now a pitch high from Gonzalez. Now way low. Ball gets to the backstop. Here comes the runner. And there's no play at the plate. The Skyhawks take the lead as Sengenberger scores. Sengenberger reached on a walk, then advanced on a pass ball, and scored on a wild pitch.
That's how a lot of these games end up. I mean, it's just manufacturing runs, gritty baseball, taking every opportunity to advance, rewarded there with the wild pitch. They're not done yet.
That one at least close to the zone, but still a ball, and it's 3-0.
These are definitely some moments where it looks like the arms for the Wildcats might not quite be ready for this kind of moment this early in the season. You certainly don't come in today expecting to be thrown in with a bases loaded spot.
Chula-Hall golfs one foul back onto Orange Avenue. 3-1. Now Gonzalez has to attack here and at least give his defense a chance to do something. The 3-1 is low, ball 4, and the bases are loaded again.
The guys, especially these fastball first guys, seem too interested in trying to hit the low end of the zone or tick just the top edge of the zone. There's nothing wrong at this point with challenging guys and telling them to put the ball in play. If it hurts you, it hurts you. But at this point, this nibbling around the zone is not going to do it. They're not offering. They've shown you they're not going to offer at it. You have to give guys something to hit.
Pinch runner at first base for Stonehill, Ryan LeClaire. Thorbon hits it in the air to right, going back Rivera. He makes the catch. The Wildcats only give up 1, but they are still down 8-7 going to the bottom of the 8th. That was 1 run, no hits, no errors, and the bases left loaded on 4 walks. And the Wildcats have work to do at the plate coming up on the CatEye Network. Ryan LeClaire, who came into a pinch run for Trey Chula Hall, takes over at third base for the Skyhawks. Joe Castrocini still in to pitch. He has pitched 2 innings of pretty much perfect baseball. Only gave up 1 walk, but they gave it back on the caught stealing. And it'll be Jamie Villafane to lead it off for Bethune-Cookman. 9-hole hitter starting it off in the 8th. Wildcats down by 1. Down for the first time since inning number 1. First pitch, a ball low to Villafane.
Just such a gritty performance for Stonehill, all up and down. Castrocini chief among that.
Villafane chopped toward third. That'll go foul. And it's 1-1.
Just giving Stonehill exactly what they needed on the mound. Just finally some consistency, calming things down a little bit, letting this defense work.
Popped straight up in the air towards the Stonehill dugouts. And that will hit the net in front of Sengenberger.
Just about a foot out of reach. Sengenberger's glove right there.
We saw one for Colton Olison like that to end the last inning. We thought it was going to hit the net, but it just held up enough for Sengenberger to make the play. Villafane today doubled and scored in the 2nd, then walked and was stranded on 3rd in the 4th, and flied out to left in the 5th. The 1-2. Hit in the air, towering pop on the infield. Herbst makes the catch, 1 away.
Aggressive approach there at the plate from Villafane. A lot of swings. You know, early aggression from the Wildcats here. They were known to kind of fall into that last year a little bit when things got tight. They little swing happy, which isn't always the key in tight games like this.
Swearing to bunt and pulling it back is Daniel Figueroa. Figueroa reached on an error in the 2nd and scored, singled, and was caught going 2nd to 3rd in the 6th, then struck out in the 4th and 1st. Another pitch low, and it's 2-0. Swearing to bunt again and taking a strike, Figueroa. This is a situation the Wildcats may find themselves in a lot this season, in high-scoring games, needing to outscore their opponents down the stretch. That one is hit into center field. Coming on and sliding to make the catch is Parks, and there's 2 outs.
You know, everybody wants to take advantage with the big hit, double or homer at this point in the 1-run ball game. But it's going to take more than an individual effort at this point. But now back at the top, into the middle of the BCU lineup. Now it's time to set the table.
First pitch to Chun, takes it low for ball 1. Garrett Chun's been the man pretty much all weekend. Walked and scored in the 1st. RBI triple in the 2nd, singled in the 4th, and then flew out in the 6th. Made contact every time except for the 4-pitch walk.
Also ever wary of even the solo homer from guys like George Gonzalez-Febo, and then, of course, Jose Gonzalez next. Wildcats are never down and out when you have that kind of pop in the middle of the order.
2-1. Chun hits it in the air, playable down the left field line, and it will just fade out of play. 2-2. Chun trying to continue the 8th. Castrocini looking for a 3rd straight 1-2-3 inning. And it's just a bit outside. The 2-2. Swinging grounded into the Stonehill dugouts. The payoff. Laser beam into right field and a base hit for Garrett Chun. Again, a 3rd hit of the game keeps the inning alive.
He's got an opening weekend to remember for sure. But now's the time the big boys are coming up.
Here is Jorge Gonzalez Febo hit a home run his first appearance yesterday.
Have a conversation over here between Coach Hernandez, hitting coach Derek Cartaya, over at first base, volunteer coach Hunter Allen. I think, you know, I don't know what exactly the message will be over there, but I really hope to see from George in this AB, we can't just see 3 straight uppercut swings, hacking, trying to hunt those batting cages over there. You have to have a balanced approach. If what you're given from Castrocini is the opportunity to take a base hit and to move everybody up one bag, that's okay. I mean, you've got protection behind you. You've got Gonzalez coming up, and then, of course, George Rodriguez is another guy who can make something happen, so that there's by no means you don't need to do it all yourself right here. Big spot for the freshman, though. You're going to see a lot of kind of who he is at the plate by how he approaches this.
Gonzalez Febo hit the home run in his first plate appearance yesterday. He is 0 for 8 with 2 fielder's choices since then. First pitch ball inside.
So he had some loud outs in that 0 for 8, but loud outs are outs nonetheless.
With 2 down here in the 8th, can't afford any of those. Pitch. Breaking ball finds the zone. And it's 1-1. There's a massive speed difference between Castrocini's fastball and change. Febo got jammed off the inside of the bat. Moving over and making the catch near the line is Gaspar, and Stonehill is 3 outs away from a series finale win, but they get one more chance at the plate before that. We'll bring it to you right here on the CatEye Network. Jeffrey Gonzalez back out to face the Skyhawks in the top of the 9th. Gonzalez came in and walked in the go-ahead run after Leposki walked one in the 8th. As the Skyhawks scored a run with no hits and 4 BCU walks in the previous frame. And he's got to face Blaine Lidsky first up. And Lidsky swings and misses nowhere near that fastball.
Gonna give a shout out to BCU Track and Field today, starting the indoor track SWAC championships.
Another big cut and miss from Lidsky.
Try to see if I can't find if there's been any notable events to have gone final so far today. I'll poke around and see what we can find for the remainder of this broadcast, but can't interject too much with one as tight as this is.
Breaking ball, trying to catch the outside corner, doesn't get it. And it's 1-2. Lidsky in the game, grounded out twice, a double and a single. And another one upstairs, 2-2. Can't really tell from here, but it feels like this umpire's strike zone is a little bit lower than what we had yesterday. The 2-2. Inside, 3-2. So after 2 quick strikes, Gonzalez has thrown 3 balls.
Just again, it's okay to allow the hard contact. That fly ball went really far last inning, but it was still an out.
3, punched him out looking on the outside corner, and there's 1 down.
With the benefit of a generous call there, I think, based on at least the reaction there. But just for these new relievers trying to make their first foray here for most of them into Division I baseball, you just can't get too strikeout happy. It doesn't have to go that way every single time up.
Here's Jack Marshall. Ball just low. Marshall 1 for 4, a single in the 5th with 2 flyouts and a ground out. That time way inside, forced him to jump back, and it's 2-0. And the relievers for the Wildcats have kind of been similar to what the relievers for Stonehill looked like yesterday, just struggling to find the plate consistently. And that time inside almost hit him, and it's 3-0.
And when they're missing, they're not missing close. And so there hasn't been the swings and misses. There hasn't been even the caught looking, because they're just not threatened.
That one ball 4 low, a 4-pitch walk to Jack Marshall.
Another one you can see there in the way Marshall approaches that 4th pitch. It's just he had his head turned and was ready to head down the line before the ball even hit the back of the glove. It's just out of the hand, easy to pick up, easy to see it's not going to find the zone. Too low.
6th walk of the game given up by BCU pitching. And another ball really low that Rodriguez has to dig out of the dirt. First pitch to Sengenberger.
Just got to come at him. Find some in the zone. If you need to throw a couple in the middle just to find your footing, that's okay.
Check swing. A strike anyway, and it's 1-1. There's another strike, breaking ball at the knees. Wildcats only have 4 Ks on the day, and they have struck out 9 times. They trail by 1 in the 9th. That one is golfed into center field and deep, and it is caught by Figueroa as the wind kind of held it up. He'll throw in to keep Marshall at first. Sengenberger is out F8, and there's 2 away. Here's Aaron Herbst, who walked in the 1st, grounded out in the 4th, struck out in the 6th, and bunted, but it was popped up and caught in the 8th. Gonzalez and out away from getting out of it. And a big cut and miss. Like when he attacks with that fastball, it looks like Stonehill is way behind it. And then he goes away from it after he gets a strike or 2.
Guys at this level of ball don't see the mid to high 90s fastball all the time. So you can challenge guys, and they still might not be able to keep up with it.
They throw down to first, and just safe is Marshall. That pitch was outside 1-1.
Now that high 90s fastball works the best when you have a breaking ball to kind of pair it with to give that illusion or to fool some hitters, but go to it every time, and a lot of guys won't be able to dial it in.
Low 2-1. He looks like Gonzalez is kind of trying to attack, and he just keeps missing his spots. Nobody warming up in the Skyhawks bullpen. This should be Castrocini's game. There's a big cut and miss for strike 2. And he's done very well. 3 innings, and his only blemish is 1 walk. Pitch on the way. Way upstairs. Ball gets away from Rodriguez into the backstop. Wild pitch allows Marshall to advance.
We do have Pablo Torres out there continuing to throw in the bullpen. Obviously, unless this game goes to extras, probably won't see him. Did only throw, I believe, 7 pitches last night, so he's a guy who went multiple innings for the Wildcats in most of his appearances last year.
Swing and hit right towards here as it clangs off the roof.
Everybody over here kind of a little tense when that ball comes over here.
Brace yourself for impact. Here we go. Full count, 2 down. Runner on second. Wildcats trying to have just 1 to chase in the ninth instead of 2. And Gonzalez deals. Hit high in the air towards the infield. Colton Olison calls off Suffrain. Tracking, moving back, makes the catch. No runs, no hits, 1 left. Gonzalez does the job, and the Wildcats need 1 to tie, 2 to win in the bottom of the ninth inning. Coming up next, right here on the CatEye Network. Last ups for the Cats as they trail 8-7 in this one. Stonehill looking for their first win of the year. Wildcats looking to sweep the weekend series. It'll be Jose Gonzalez, Jorge Rodriguez, and Manny Suffrain to face Joe Castrocini, who has worked 3 innings of almost perfect ball. And he gets a strike first pitch inside corner to Gonzalez, up to 44 pitches now.
He's succeeding the way you have to, getting ahead in counts, attacking the zone.
Big cut and miss of the ball in the dirt, 0-2. The Wildcats are going to come up hacking.
See, and unlike where the Wildcats bullpen has differed, he has gone right in the zone with just about every pitch.
Grounder towards third, past the diving glove of LeClaire and into left field. Leadoff single for Jose Gonzalez.
And see, that's the kind of swing I want to see more out of from George Gonzalez. Febo is not trying to do anything crazy there. An uppercut swing pops you up, or you may miss that ball entirely. Gets over top of it, makes sure to get that ball on the ground and through the infield. And now here's what I talked about earlier in this game. With just a 1 run, it's going to be A.J. Smith taking over as the pinch runner. Oh boy, look out.
A.J. Smith, who bunted for a single in his only appearance yesterday, and then stole second, is lightning quick, and he will be on first. Now it's Jorge Rodriguez. I expect a check over to first here, and they do.
I expect a couple checks over to first. A.J. Smith's the guy you wonder if throw over to first isn't fast enough, if he could just steal anyway on the, you time it right on the check over.
He goes back again. Really wary of Smith.
And at this point, it's really just trying to keep him as close to the bag as possible because you know he's going.
First pitch is low to Rodriguez. Didn't go that time. The speedster from Kilgore, Texas, former Wharton County Junior College prospect. The 1-0. Inside hit. Jorge Rodriguez. And now the Wildcats have 2 on and nobody out. Rodriguez, the potential winning run at first.
And now you don't want to make the first or the third out of an inning on the bases. I don't anticipate Smith trying to steal third. But, man, if anything gets out of that infield,
he might be gone.
he might be at home plate by the time it gets out there.
And we're going to have another pinch runner at first. We're going to put some more speed on the base pass with, I believe that's Carlos Rosas. No, it's not. It is Frankie Feblis.
Interesting choice. Frankie definitely has some speed, played the outfield a lot in his first season with BCU.
Here is Manny Sufrain. 2 RBI double in the first, walked and scored in the 5th, and struck out in the 7th. Now we have a pinch hitter. It is Xavier Cintron, the junior from Orlando. They were to try to do some bunt shenanigans with Cintron.
Which creates an interesting sequence when the third baseman needs to run over to try to cover the short bunt, while the shortstop has to immediately sprint over to third base because A.J. Smith could be on his way down there. A lot of rotation in that infield.
Smith on second, Feblis on first. They go back to second and try and get Smith, who slides in safely. Lots of complicated infield scenarios here. And we still may get another bunt attempt from Cintron, with the count being 1 ball, no strikes. And do we see a pitching change for Stonehill here? There's some movement in the bullpen.
It looks like the ball just sailed a little too far.
Nope, Castrocini stayed out there. Cintron squares to bunt again. The ball goes upstairs, 2-0.
Between Leclerc and Marshall, and I guess even to an extent over at first base, Thorban getting some cardio in, just sprinting full speed, trying to cover that bunt. Wildcats are definitely putting them in a tough position right now, but they're sticking with it.
Castrocini deals. Cintron squares to bunt again. It's another pitch high. 3 balls and no strikes. Sergio Rivera waits on deck, but you know, we could have another pinch hitter. Who knows?
Any chance there's a green light here?
I'm not sure. You don't want to hit into a potential double play. Squares to bunt again. 4 balls. It's a walk. Single, hit by pitch, walk, bases juiced for Sergio Rivera. And you got a guy on third and A.J. Smith who could score from a shallow fly ball.
We're going to bring everybody in and talk about it.
Now, do you try and do something fancy, try and push a bunt down the first base line and try and squeeze Smith home?
It's tough with the force out opportunity there, but you know, at the same time, the decision may be made for the Wildcats, seeing as how that at bat went. Maybe take the first pitch, see what it looks like. If he's going to be a little bit wild, then you let the at bat drive from there. But patience is going to be key.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Sergio Rivera is at the plate. Rivera, who yesterday in 2 games, in 6 at-bats, 4 runs on 4 hits with a triple and an RBI. Today, Rivera is 1 for 3 with a 2 RBI double, a walk, a flyout, and a strikeout, and we will get a pitching change for Stonehill as Castrocini, who is still on the hook for the loss because he's responsible for the runners on base, will make way for Jordan Moreau.
No reason to hang your head if you're Castrocini by any means, of course. Outstanding effort for him. Finally gave them consistency after a really rough start to the game.
Moreau, a senior from Johnston, Rhode Island. Last season, 10 appearances for Stonehill, 14 strikeouts in 9 2/3 innings. 2 seasons prior to that, both at Franklin Pierce at the D2 level. Was actually a Stonehill rival in the Northeast 10 Conference. Redshirted his freshman year, but in his sophomore year only appeared in 2 games at the D2 level with 2 innings and 2 strikeouts. Moreau in to face Sergio Rivera. Once again, bases loaded, nobody out, 1 run ties, 2 runs win. So anything through the infield could be the end of the game.
No doubt, with Frankie Feblis on second base. A.J. Smith's a guarantee, obviously, but Frankie's got that speed, too. Anything past the infield is absolutely going to score a run.
And anything on the infield, I think Stonehill might have to come home with it. And with Smith's speed going on contact, it may be a play at the plate.
That is the one fortunate thing they do have in their favor is the force out at all bases. Double play would be killer, but could still...
Yeah, well, if you go for like a traditional 6-4-3 double play, it still ties the game, and there's still another batter, give another batter an opportunity to send it to extra innings or to win the game. I think if you're Stonehill here, you have to come home with anything on the infield.
It's a big spot. Patience, I think, is going to be important regardless. It's see what you're given on the mound and then take it from there. A first pitch swinging is a recipe for a grounded double play.
Moreau looks like he's a side armor, right-hander. And here we go. Wildcats trying to sweep the season series. Stonehill with an 8-7 lead trying to stay alive and take the third one. We've got Smith on third, Feblis on second, Cintrone on first after a walk, and Sergio Rivera up in the biggest spot of his young VCU career.
First 9th inning here at the Jack is an exciting one. First bottom of the 9th, I guess I should say.
Moreau looks in, and from the stretch deals. Swing and a miss. Blew the fastball by him. Interesting that there was a green light first pitch there.
Yeah, the high fastball. Couldn't catch up to it up top there. Don't mind the swing, but gotta be careful.
Swinging a foul ball straight back to the press box, 0-2. And now, if there's a strikeout here, now you got to be worried because the double play ends the game.
Really tough spot getting behind.
I'm surprised with the corners back. They haven't gone for a squeeze play. Here's the pitch. And it hit him. Hold on. He didn't send him to first. Did they say it hit him on the arm in the act of swinging, which would not send him to first and, in fact, be a strikeout?
Did he go all the way? It looked like a check.
I don't think he swung.
I also wonder maybe, I mean, all the official did was tap his elbow. I wonder if he says maybe it was stuck out into the pitch or something along those lines.
This is a massive decision from the umpires. It's either a tie game or 1 out.
And you hate to have a game like this in the hands of the officials like that, especially on a play like that that's just seems pretty cut and dry, at least from our view.
This is not good because they're going over to talk to Coach Hernandez at third base. They didn't call him safe or out yet.
Oh. Someone's saying it hit the knob of the bat.
I heard a clack, but he's wearing all the shoulder armor or elbow armor, so it could have hit that, could have hit the knob of the bat. I'm not sure what we're going to have. He's out. Strike 3. That's a massive call. And now Colton Olison up with a double play ending the game, and you wonder if now Olison might try and squeeze one here.
You didn't see a ton of protests there from Coach Hernandez, so I guess it's just kind of a tough luck, but you understand where the call comes from. But man.
Olison 0 for 4 on the day. First pitch to him, swinging a grounder to third. This could be 2. They come home with it for 1. On to first. Double play and the ball game is over. Stonehill survives a thriller and wins it 8-7 after the Wildcats thought they'd tied the game on a hit batter.
And, you know, obviously a massively tough break for the Wildcats, but you have to give credit to Stonehill. A gritty performance. Did exactly what they needed to do all day. It wasn't pretty early. It was a really, really rocky start that looked all the makings of another blowout for them. They hung in there. They finally found some consistency on the mound. And when it mattered, the bullpen came through. And it's not something we see a lot out here, especially on these latter legs of these homestands, on these getaway days. Well, it's not the traditional Sunday, still very much that here. And they made the plays they needed to, and none bigger than those right there.
Colton Olison out 5-2-3, and they get Smith going home 5-2. What a wild play to end the game.
What a wild game it was. I mean, we saw everything from some crushed balls early, not all of that even went for base hits. We saw some defensive quirks on both sides of the ball. We saw some good pitching. We saw some erratic throws out there, but you really got it all on a day we didn't really necessarily expect to get a ball game in. It's a learning experience for the Wildcats. Those are the kind of positions that you're going to be put in late in the season against tough conference opponents, especially when you get down to SWAC play. So take what you can from the series. Obviously a ton good to come from it. You were challenged. I think it's important for the Wildcats to be challenged early on in the season. Another blowout can only do you so much good if you're BCU. So there'll be plenty to talk about for Coach Hernandez, for us, going into our first midweeker of the season coming up.
We'll play FIU on Tuesday. For Stonehill, 8 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors, and they left 9 on base. For the Wildcats, 7 runs on 8 hits, 4 errors, and they left 8 on base. And they had the bases loaded with nobody out and couldn't get it done. And that's tough.
And it's a little bit of tough luck. You know, we don't have the benefit of going back and seeing every angle of the hit by pitch, and you better believe there's no way that Coach Hernandez is going to allow his team to rest on that, to use that as an excuse for why they lost. A double play is the one thing you couldn't do after that, but that's baseball. That's a tough break of baseball, and they'll have to wear that and use it as hopefully a building point for what is otherwise a strong start to the season.
The winning pitcher is Joe Castracini. His record is 1-0. I believe Gonzalez is, no, is it Philip Lipovsky's on for the loss? So Yo-Yo Diaz is on for the loss because he walked the batter that eventually came around to score the go-ahead run. The Wildcats fall to 2-1. The Stonehill Skyhawks go to 1-2. We'll be back on Tuesday, 7 p.m. start against FIU right here at the Jack, where hopefully we should get some better weather, but still should get some entertaining baseball. For Bryce Winoski and our entire crew out here at the Jack, making do with what we can in a rainy day, we'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning into the CatEye Network production of BCU Baseball. My name is Michael Torreno. Have an entertaining rest of your day.